we're just going to work on building out a concept. So we're just going to work on one concept for now. I've gone ahead and drag and dropped my logo in there. So straight from Finder, we just go ahead and we can drag that logo in just as a reminder. And then using our type tool, we can go ahead and add a headline. So I've just gone ahead and added one here already. Just as a note, for these concepts, you should physically be coming up with some sort of creative headlines. Would be great if you can have 3 variations for your 3 concepts. Yours should not say headline text. This is just for the purpose of the tutorial. So I'm going to go ahead and add some subtitle. So you can see here, because a lot of notes came through regarding the resolution. So you can see that this is not looking so great resolution-wise. But again, as I want to mention, as we did in the last video, we are zoomed in at 300%. So that will for sure make a big, big, big difference when it comes down to zooming in and looking at the resolution. So just as a note, I'm looking at this, and while I have everything on there, it is a busy photo and my copy isn't standing out as much as I want. So if I want to say add a little something to make this stand out, I can go ahead and add another layer. I'm just going to bring that black color forward and I'm just going to say edit, fill. I'm going to fill it with the foreground. So this is the foreground, this white over here is the background. I'm over on the toolbar and press OK. So obviously that's far too dark, but we can go ahead and use our blending mode. So we can say maybe add a multiply, as I do personally really like how multiply color has a multiply setting. Kind of blends in with an image. And then we're going to go ahead and bring the opacity down a little bit as well. So now I'm starting to kind of really build out and I'm kind of seeing this come to life a little bit more, making some adjustments here. And then we do want to add some form of CTA copy. It could be in the form of a button. So I can go ahead and use a CTA that says, buy now. Maybe I want to physically create a button. And if I do want to physically create a button, we can just go over to our toolbar and grab our rectangle tool. And we can go ahead and add a button. So it does automatically have a slight 2-pixel curve to it. I can go ahead and adjust it to say 0 if I don't like that curve. We can also adjust them over here on the properties that show up. So I can go ahead and say 0. I can also use these to adjust. So maybe let's just add a tiny bit of a curve to there. It is sometimes nice to add a slight curve to buttons. So currently in the appearance, you can see I have a stroke. And again, everything shows up at the top as well if you have your essentials on. So I have a stroke on here and no fill. So say, for instance, I do want to add a fill, but in this case, I want to eliminate this stroke. Just going to adjust the curve because I find it a little bit hefty. And so there's my button. Saying that, again, I find the button a little bit heavy. So maybe I want to go ahead and make it a blue tone. Maybe I want to go ahead and go over here and then click on this so that I can select a color, or I also have an eyedropper. So say, for instance, I'd like to maybe snag one of these brighter greens, or I can manually adjust. Press OK. So maybe that's it. Again, I don't personally think that stands out too much, but for the purpose of our tutorial, I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate that subtitle text and bring it above, and then move it into here. Just going to give it a buy now. If I hold down my control button and hold down buy now and the button shape I added, I get my transform and alignment tools up here. So I just want to make sure that's nice and centered. And then from here, if I do find this copy a little bit large, so I can just go ahead and reduce that up. I also think my button's a bit large, so I can go Command T to edit this, or we can go edit free transform as well. And maybe I just want to make that slightly smaller. And now again, holding control and selecting those two layers, I'm going to center align that button, and we can say, call this one done. Before I do so, I would like to do some layer organization. So I'm going to select these two. So again, holding down control, I'm going to select those two layers, and I'm just going to click that folder, and it immediately pops those into a folder. I'm going to call this button. Again, holding control, I'll just select the text. Maybe I would like this. We'll call this copy. And then we can leave the logo as is, but say, for instance, I'd like to get that image group together, holding control, hitting that folder. And we can call that background. I can go ahead and plunk that logo up at the top. We can put another layer, but I'm also okay with it just sitting right here. Then when we go ahead and save this, we're going to save file, save as. We want to make sure that we are saving this as a PSD file. So that is a Photoshop file. And I will call this web and concept one. Say, for instance, I do believe in the brief you have a specified naming convention, so you will want to make sure you follow that. But that's kind of a quick brief tutorial on how we can build out those ads in Photoshop. And just last before least, if I go ahead and zoom out to 100, you can see what that a little bit closer as to what that ad is going to physically look like on screen.